In the top stories, St. Kitts and Nevis finalizes fisheries regulations. Bahamas government introduces legislation to regulate cannabis industry, and UN debates deep-sea mining in Jamaica. Hello and welcome to the Midday newscast. Today is Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. I'm Scotty Sia Hendrickson. Nationally, St. Kitts and Nevis has finalized its fisheries regulations thanks to the collaborative efforts of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, or FAO, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Marine Resources, alongside other legal bodies. These regulations, once adopted, will implement the Fisheries and Marine Resources Act, supporting the island's efforts to manage fisheries resources effectively and combat illegal, unreported, and unregulated IUU fishing. A team from the FAO, including Legal Officer Buba Bojang, International Fisheries Policy Specialist Osalvo Eurisha, and Monitoring Specialist Esther Boy Cameron, worked with the local legal crafting team from June 26 to July 5th to finalize the draft regulations. This comprehensive legal framework aims to ensure the conservation and sustainable use of fisheries resources in St. Kitts and Nevis. During their mission, the FAO team met with Permanent Secretary Miguel Flemings to discuss the objective and express gratitude for the government's cooperation. Fleming assured the team that the proposed regulations would be adopted. Additionally, a memorandum of understanding was signed by Minister of Agriculture Samuel Duggins and Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation and International Transport, Tival Wharton, to enhance cooperation and information exchange between various departments. This memorandum of understanding will ensure coordinated registration and continuous monitoring of fishing vessels to prevent IUU fishing activities. FAO Legal Officer Buba Bojang praised the government's commitment reflected in the signing of the memorandum of understanding and the active participation of the drafting team. A 9-member advisory board has been established for the newly launched Girls Mentorship Program, an initiative spearheaded by the Ministry of Social Empowerment and Gender Affairs in the Nevis Island Administration, or NIA. During a brief ceremony on July 9th, the Honorable Janelle Nisbet, Minister of Social Empowerment and Gender Affairs, presented the board members with their instruments of appointment. The board comprises of Patricia Claxton, Randolph Boddy, Tebron Joseph, Diane Hobson, Neela Jones, Roger Fifield, Deandra Archibald, Pamela Martin, and staff representative Catherine Forbes. Minister Nisbet expressed her gratitude to the members for their willingness to contribute to the initiative, acknowledging the time and effort required to ensure the program's successful execution for the benefit of young mentees. This program is modeled after the ministry's Boys Mentorship Program, which aims to guide young boys on a path to success. The installation ceremony was chaired by Ms. Latoya Jeffers, Assistant Secretary with Ms. Shalissa Martin Clark, Permanent Secretary Ms. Saros Hendrickson, Interim Director of Gender Affairs, and other members of staff in attendance. The ministry aims to fully implement the Girls Mentorship Program by September. Troy Nisbet has been written into the country's history book as the first swimmer from St. Kitts and Nevis to compete at the Olympics. He will take part in the men's 50-meter freestyle in Paris. His coach, James Weeks, said this is a dream that came to reality much faster than they expected, but the young swimmer is prepared.
Well, it was quite far-fetched because even during the training and regional and local competition, it wasn't anywhere in our minds. We just was going with the day-to-day, week-to-week flow. So when we got the information that what is possible, then we had to start up the game and so on, because now we heading for the big stage, which was very exciting, and at the same time thinking, okay, when we got to change the workload because now we got to meet the criteria of those what is required on the outside, because everything outside is going to be everything is magnified.
In regional news, Bahamian Prime Minister Philip Davis announced his support for a series of bills aimed at legalizing cannabis for medical and religious purposes, as well as decriminalizing the possession of small amounts. Speaking in Parliament, Davis emphasized the need for regulation in the cultivation, sale, and use of cannabis to promote public health and safety. Davis noted that Bahamians have long called for decisive action on this issue, with discussions ongoing for nearly a decade. He referenced the Marijuana Commission's work, which began in October 2018 and resulted in reports citing widespread public support for legalization. Key recommendations from the Commission including legalizing cannabis for medical use, decriminalizing small amounts, and permitting its use as a religious sacrament for Rastafarians while ensuring strict safety regulations. Among the proposed legislation is the Cannabis Bill 2024, which seeks to authorize the production, research, and possession of cannabis. This bill aims to establish quality controls, protect public health, and raise awareness about the risk associated with cannabis use. The bill will also create the Bahamas Cannabis Authority to oversee the safe handling and distribution of cannabis. To obtain licenses for analytical testing or manufacturing, applicants must be at least 30% Bahamian owned. In international news, heated discussions on deep-sea mining unfolded on Monday as a company threatened to seek mining permission before regulations are set. Over 24 countries, including Peru and Greece, are calling for a ban or moratorium as the UN International Seabed Authority, or ISA, resumed talks on mining rules. Quote, "We have 2 very busy weeks ahead of us," said Olive McElbus, ISA's council president. Nations warned of gaps in the proposed regulations. The ISA, which oversees international waters, has granted 31 exploration contracts, but no mining approvals. Exploration focuses on Clarion-Clipperton Fracture Zone, a vast area between Hawaii and Mexico. Environmentalists warn mining could harm ocean processes. Supporters argue it is less damaging than land mining, with the metals company expected to seek the first mining permission. With demand for metals like cobalt and nickel rising, the council will debate regulations for 2 weeks before electing a secretary general. In other international news, Amazon Prime Day has arrived, and experts are urging consumers to be cautious of scams. The Better Business Bureau, BBB, warns that phishing attempts often spike during major sales events like Prime Day and Black Friday. This is a significant moment on the retail calendar, said Josh Planos, Vice President of Communications at the BBB. It's an enormous opportunity for scammers to exploit and separate people from their money. Prime Day, a 2-day discount event for Amazon Prime members, starts on Tuesday and ends on Wednesday. The BBB advises consumers to be on the lookout for lookalike websites, too good to be true social media ads, and unsolicited emails or calls. The need for vigilance is heightened this year. In June, the BBB reported a record number of phishing incidents in 2023, with numbers still climbing. Additionally, cybersecurity firm Checkpoint Software Technologies identified over 1,230 new Amazon-related websites in June, most of which were suspicious or malicious. Scott Knapp, Amazon's Director of Worldwide Biorisk Prevention, highlighted 2 common scam tactics: fake Prime membership issues and bogus order confirmation. Last year, 2/3 of reported scams involved these issues, with scammers seeking payment information through unsolicited calls or emails. Amazon is working to protect its consumers, advising them to verify purchases and messages directly through its approved website. While new scams may emerge, experts note that familiar tactics tend to resurface each year. And now for the weather. Present weather is partly cloudy skies with slight dust haze. Winds are a light breeze of 7 miles per hour from the northeast. Temperature is at 31 degrees Celsius or 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet. Weather forecast in St. Kitts and Nevis today will be partly sunny skies. Tonight predicts partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 60% or moderate chance of brief passing showers overnight. Sunset today will be at 6:49 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:44 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Scotty Hendrickson.